Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my most anticipated releases for the first half of 2022. And these are all the books that have caught my eye the most, and I have decided to read and review before the release dates. So these are books to look forward to their release and reviews from me. All these books are horror, thrillers, fantasy, or science fiction, which are my four favorite genres, and they're kind of all over the board. And I'm gonna start with the books coming out in January. So on January 18th, The Wakening by JG Faherty is coming out from Flame Tree Press. And this is a horror novel that is religious horror and an exorcism book. And The Exorcist is one of my favorite books and movies ever, and I'm always looking for a good exorcism book. I've already started this one, and it had a very strong start. And this one is about a team of paranormal investigators, a priest, and a defrocked priest with a dark secret join forces to combat a vengeful ancient demon and the evil spreading throughout a small New York town. Now, if you have similar taste to me, that will sound amazing to you too. Next is The Appeal by Janice Hallett, which is releasing January 25th from Atria Books. I believe this has been released in, I don't know if this is the US release, paperback release, or what, but I believe this has already been released, but there is a new release date on January 25th. Love Atria Books. They usually have really well done mysteries and thrillers. And this one is a mystery, a murder mystery. And it's also a debut novel. This one says, in a town full of secrets, someone was murdered, someone went to prison, and everyone's a suspect. Can you uncover the truth? Next is February books, and I have 5 books that are coming out in February that I will be reading and reviewing, including some very exciting fantasy releases. And the first of which is Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham, and this is book 1 in the Kidhammer series, and it releases February 15th from Orbit Books. And I've read 2 books from Daniel Abraham's Long Price Quartet series, and that is an amazing series, and I knew I want to follow this author. He also co-wrote one of my favorite series, sci-fi series, The Expanse series. This is Leviathan Wakes. Just really great achievement in writing, and it's kind of writing that is really engaging. I also have The Dragon's Path by Daniel Abraham on the shelves that I wanted to read. This is the first book in the Dagger and the Coin series. So this is an author that I am really interested in, and that is why it's on my most anticipated list. And this is a monumental epic fantasy trilogy that unfolds within the walls of a single great city over the course of one tumultuous year, where every story matters and the fate of the city is woven from them all. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. I am also really hyped about The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan, which comes out February 22nd from Orbit Books. And this is a debut novel. And it's the first in a trilogy. It's the first in the Empire of the Wolf series. Great title. And it follows the tale of Sir Conrad von Volt, an emperor's justice, a detective, judge, and executioner all in one. As he unraveled a web of secrets and lies, von Volt discovers a plot that might destroy his order once and for all and bring down the entire empire. And also releasing on February 22nd is a thriller, Beneath the Stairs by Jennifer Fawcett by Atria Books. And this is also a debut novel. This is about a woman returns to her hometown after her childhood friend attempts suicide at a local haunted house, the same place where a traumatic incident shattered their lives 20 years ago. That is a great setup for a thriller novel. One that I would definitely be interested in. Somebody dies at a haunted house and they have a past trauma or something happened in this house 20 years ago. Oh, and you have to go and investigate. Like, this is fantastic. Oh, I can't wait. And the last book for February is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, which also releases February 22nd from William Morrow. And Lisa Foley has had some pretty popular books lately, like The Guest List and The Hunting Party. So I was drawn to this title, and I was also intrigued because it's The Paris Apartment, and Paris is my favorite place in the world that I've been so far. It is about Jess, who needs a fresh start. She's broken alone, and she just left her job under less than ideal circumstances. Her half-brother Ben didn't sound thrilled when she asked if she could crash with him for a bit, but he didn't say no. And surely everything will look better from Paris. Only when she shows up to find a very nice apartment could Ben really have afforded this. He's not there. A woman who has things not really going her way, she has to crash with her brother, but her brother happens to live in fabulous Paris. But when she gets there, brother's missing. Hey, sounds intriguing to me. Now we're into the March books. The first March book is Sundial by Catriona Ward, which releases March 1st from Tor Nightfire, and this is the author of The Last House on Needless Street, which sounds so amazing. It sounds weird and also psychological. These are things that I love, so looking forward to reading her next release from Tor Nightfire. And this one, along with the amazing cover, is a twisty psychological horror novel that is a thrilling hall of mirrors full of deeply disturbing twists. Can you escape what's in your blood? And I don't even want to know more than that. Twisty, psychological, nothing is as it seems. This sounds really, really good. I am very excited. I also need to read Last House on Needless Street because that seems like really great in similar ways. March also has some really interesting books releasing, and that includes The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. What intrigued me the most? That title. We're going to be preserving kaiju? How can this be? But also the author, John Scalzi, because of this amazing, famous series, The Old Man's War. I want to read so badly, and it's just a well-known name to me in science fiction. So this is a standalone adventure sci-fi book that releases March 15th from Tor Books, and it's about a man who lives in New York City, and he joins an animal rights organization, and after he takes this job for the animal rights organization, he finds out that the animals that they are protecting are from another dimension, and they are kaiju. So, yes, please. That sounds all kinds of weird and amazing. I need it in my life. Next is Dark Stars, an anthology edited by John F.D. Taft. And this is also being released from Tor Nightfire, this one on March 22nd. This anthology has a lot of great authors, and this is a book of novelettes. So, longer short stories. I tend to like longer stories when it comes to anthologies and short story collections. They usually hit harder than the really short stories for me. And I believe John F.D. Taft might have a story in this. I'm not sure. But I know he edited it. And there's also Josh Mallerman, Priya Sharma, Stephen Graham Jones, Alma Katsu, Usman T. Malik, Carolyn Kepnes, Chesia Burke, Olivia Llewellyn, Gemma Files, John Langan, and Ramsey Campbell. That is an all-star lineup right there, and I can't wait to read and review this one for you guys. So many new novelettes in horror. I am very excited. And the last book that I have for March is The City of Dusk by Tara Sim, which is another fantasy novel coming out March 22nd from Orbit. This is the first book in the Dark God series, and it is set in a gorgeous world of bone and shadow magic, of vengeful gods and defiant chosen ones. The City of Dusk is the first in a dark, epic fantasy trilogy that follows the four heirs of four noble houses, each gifted with a divine power, as they form a tenuous alliance to keep their kingdom from descending into realm-shattering war. Now on to April. I have one April book, and that is The Echo Man by Sam Holland, which is a thriller coming out April 5th from Crooked Lane Books. And this one is a serial killer thriller, and I believe it might be a copycat. Oh, no, I remember. This is, yes, it's a serial killer book, but it is a copycat serial killer, so he keeps copycatting a lot of different other serial killers' methods, and he keeps changing it up. It's what I think. And that's why he's the Echo Man. And that sounds fantastic. I love serial killer stories, and this one sounds really cool, and I can't wait to read it. Then in May, I have a science fiction book, Under Unfortunate Stars, which is a debut novel from Ren Hutchings, and it comes out May 10th from Solaris. This sounds really cool. Listen to this. Fleeing the final days of the generations-long war with the alien Phelan, smuggler Jareth Keevan's fighter, the Jonah, breaks down in a strange rift in deep space, with little chance of rescue, until they encounter the research vessel Galleon, which claims to be from 152 years in the future. Sounds like a bit of alien war. Sounds like a bit of trapped, stuck in space. Sounds like a bit of time travel. And these are all things that I love. So many good books coming out. Oh, it's fantastic. Okay, so on to June. This is the last month that I'm going to cover. I have 2 books for June. The first one is Little Bird by Tiffany Meuret. It comes out June 7th from, it says Black Spot Books or Independent Book Publishers Association. It's an indie book release, and this has gorgeous cover, and it has the weirdest premise. I think it's a bit fantasy as well as horror, and this is about freshly divorced and grieving the death of her father. Josie has caged herself inside her home. To cope with her losses, Josie follows a strict daily routine of work, playing with her dog Poe, and trying to remember to eat a decent meal, and ending each night by drinking copious amounts of vodka. In other words, she's not coping at all. Everything changes when Josie wakes to find a small shrub has sprouted in her otherwise dirt backyard the morning after yet another bender. Within hours, the vine-like plant is running amok, and it's brought company. The appearance of an unwieldy growth has also heralded the arrival of a busybody new neighbor who insists on thrusting herself into Josie's life. The neighbor Josie can deal with, the talking skeleton called Skelly that has perched itself in Josie's backyard on a throne made of vines, however, is an entirely different matter. What? Okay, I'm too intrigued. Like, I have to read that. That is bizarre. Okay, so we have strange plant shows up at the same time as a busybody neighbor, and this plant has a talking skeleton in it sitting in a crown of thorns. What? I can't wait. I can't wait to find out what that's all about. And the last book I have for June and for the first half of 2022 is A Botanist Guide to Parties and Poisons, which is also going to be released on June 7th from Crooked Lane Books. And this book is by Khavari, and it is a historical mystery. And it's about, Saffron Everly is in a race against time to free her wrongly accused professor before he goes behind bars forever. This is a debut historical mystery, and it's, takes place in London, 1923. Love that it's a debut novel again, and these are all the books that I'm really looking forward to for the first half of 2022. And I'm guessing these will be my only new releases that I'll be reading. But you never know. I'll probably add in a few. Let me know if these books sound interesting to you, if they are highly anticipated for you like they are for me. And I'll be back very soon with another book related video. Thanks.